There's a show called Undercover Billionaire. The premise is this: they take a billionaire, strip away their identity, their money, and their entire network. They give them $100, an old truck, and a phone with no contacts. They drop them in a city they've never visited, where they know absolutely no one, and the goal is to build a $1 million business in just 90 days. Why is this show important? And why should you watch this specific episode over and over? Because we always look at the wealthy and say, oh, he's just a trust fund baby. He had it easy, or he just inherited it all. We are always making excuses to justify our own failures. This show is here to crush those excuses once and for all. It proves that wealth isn't the number in your bank account. Wealth is what you have left after all your money is gone. When this billionaire Glenn Stearns was dropped in that city on day one, what did he do? He didn't go looking for a job to pay rent. He started taking notes. He looked at the market to see what was missing. He looked at where people were spending their money. He was sleeping in his truck in the freezing cold, eating dollar meals. Why? Because he knew that $100 was his capital, and he wasn't about to waste it on consumption. He had to invest it in value. The first thing he did was look for something he could flip for a margin. He searched through scrap, looking at things people had thrown away, and he found value in them. This is where you see the difference between a poor mindset and a rich mindset. The poor see trash, while the rich see opportunity. In just a few days, he managed to turn that $100 into $200, then $500, not just through physical labor, but through intelligence. He knew how to persuade people, how to sell a vision, and how to build relationships, even when he didn't have a dime in his pocket. The first lesson you need to take away from these 5 minutes is, value is in your head, not in your pocket. If you keep saying, if only I had money, I would do this and that, you are lying to yourself. The billionaire started with nothing and built it from scratch because the system is right here, in the mind. Now, let's move past the show and that billionaire and focus on the real deal. Why does this matter to you and me? Because true wealth is the system inside your mind. If I gave you $1 million right now, but you didn't have the mindset, you'd lose it all in a year and end up poorer than you started. But if I took everything away and left you with the knowledge, you would build it all back. The first law of wealth is value. Money doesn't flow to the people who need it. Money flows to the people who provide value to the market. If you're getting paid $200, it's because that's the value you're providing. You want to get paid more? Increase your value. Learn a rare skill. Solve big problems for people.
The second law: assets versus liabilities. The difference between the rich and the poor is where the first dollar they earn goes. The poor spend it on liabilities, phones, clothes, shoes, just to look cool. The rich buy assets, stocks, businesses, skills that will generate more money. Wealth is when you have a money machine working for you while you sleep. The third law: freedom is the goal. Wealth isn't about hoarding billions just to show off. Wealth is about having choices, working with whoever you want, whenever you want, and wherever you want. If you're making millions but have no time to live your life, you're just a well-paid slave, not a wealthy person. Guys, wealth is a psychological game before it's ever about numbers. You have to kill that poor person inside you, the one who fears risk and waits for the government or their parents to save them. You must take 100% responsibility for your life. Now, listen closely, because this is where people get lost. Wealth is not a salary. A salary is the drug they give you to make you forget your dreams. If you spend your life chasing a paycheck at the end of the month, you will always have a leash around your neck. Real wealth is cash flow. Money that comes in without you having to trade your time for it. Why do the rich get richer while the poor get poorer? Because the rich pay themselves first. When a poor person gets money, they immediately pay the rent, the electricity, the phone bill, and buy food. And if anything is left, they save it, and usually nothing is left. A wealthy person takes their money, sets aside the portion they will invest, and lives on whatever is left. This is the pay yourself first mindset. Then there's the concept of leverage. A poor person only works with their own effort, and since your time and effort are limited, your income will always be limited. Wealth begins when you learn how to use other people's time, other people's money, or technology and systems that work 24/7. This YouTube channel you're watching right now is Leverage. This video is being watched while I sleep, bringing me value while I sleep. If you want to be wealthy, you must escape the rat race. You have to stop running after endless obligations. Shut your mouth, cut your expenses to a point where people call you cheap or crazy, and those savings will become your slaves that work to bring you more money. Wealth is patience. People want to get rich in a week. That doesn't exist. Wealth is the accumulation of smart decisions made day after day. Will you buy those shoes now or put that money into a project? Will you sit and watch Netflix or sit and learn how to sell? These are the questions that determine whether you will die wealthy. Or, the bottom line of all this is that wealth is not a goal. Wealth is the result of a certain type of personality. If you want millions, you must become the person who deserves those millions. Most of you want the results without going through the process. Listen to me carefully. The biggest obstacle between you and wealth is fear and false security. The system raised you to be an obedient employee, to fear failure, and to wait for someone to pay you. If you stay afraid of taking risks, you will always be eating the crumbs left behind by those who dared. The difference between you and a wealthy person is that they can control their emotions in the face of danger, while you lose your mind the moment you hear the word loss. You must start now. There is no tomorrow, and there is no when circumstances get better. Circumstances will never improve unless you fix them with your own hands. Start with what you have, right where you are. Learn, apply, fail, and get back up. That is the only way. The billionaire we saw at the beginning doesn't have a superpower. He just has the conviction that the value in his mind can squeeze money out of a stone. Wealth is responsibility. Take responsibility for your life, your health, and your money. Stop blaming the state. Stop blaming your parents and stop blaming luck. If you die poor, it's your own fault, not anyone else's. The world gives nothing for free. It only gives to those who demand their place in it. In the end, true wealth is being free. Free from debt, free from the control of others, and free from the fear of the future. Get up and work on yourself. Build your mindset and invest in your value. That's it. Everything else is just lies told by people who are comfortable in their laziness. Always remember, wealth begins with a decision, and you must make that decision now.